The cost of living went up 3% in Miami just over last year. Now, that trend is going to increase. Cost of living is probably going to go up even more as all these businesses decide to move down. Ken Griffin of Citadel is moving him and his headquarters and just proposed a $1 billion development right in Brickell. That's going to bring a lot of employees that are in the $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 earning brackets. Google just opened up an office in Brickell. The Coral Gables, that's where I'm shooting this video. Apple just signed a 30,000 square foot lease, and FIFA just opened up an office here as well to prepare for the World Cup. So all of these things going on are just pushing the cost of living in Miami even higher. It's 15% above average right now, but it's probably going to be 20% next year. I would not be surprised at all. Schools in Miami are insanely expensive. If you want to, all these people moving down are looking for private schools to send their kids to. And Ransom and Gulliver are the two big ones here in the Coral Gables, Pinecrest, Coconut Grove area. You're looking at between $40,000 and $50,000 a year for one kid. If you have 3 kids, that's $150,000 a year to send your kid to private schools. That's insane. Private schools are in much need. There's a lot of demand for them here in Miami. So some people need to come in and create some more schools or some better schooling opportunities, because that's holding a lot of people back. And it needs to be solved. We need more options, more schools, so that we can get these tuitions decreased and we can get some good education. Housing in Miami is a big part of the cost of living issue. The average homeowner pays $4,300 per month for their home in the Miami area. That's very high. That's way above the average. And honestly, insurance is set to increase 13.5% in 2025. So that cost, that $4,300, is going to be higher next year than it is now. And that's just going to ever increase. That's always going to increase. It's never really going to go down. Taxes, if property values go up, taxes go up as well. So it's a never-ending rat race and spinning of the wheel, and just pushing these numbers and prices higher and higher and higher and higher, forcing people out, forcing people to sell their property and to rent. And honestly, if you do have to sell your property to be able to retire or live the way you want to live, that is okay. I'm here to help you. Right now, I'm specializing in selling condos because of the condo crisis that's going on in Miami. It's absolutely insane. Buildings are levying thousands, tens, 20s, 30s, sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars in special assessments because they've been mismanaged. The HOA boards and fees are out of control, essentially stealing money from people. And the HOA fees are going up because the maintenance needs to be done. I'm gonna link down below in the description of this video an article you have to read about. I wrote it. It's an article that goes super in depth about the condo crisis. I think it's going to be helpful for a lot of people. So if you do want to sell your condo, I'm here to help you. I've been saving people a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of headaches with that currently, and I'm happy to do it for you as well. So take a look at that article. But anyways, that kind of wraps up the housing sector. Let's move on to food and drinks. Food is essential to live. Drinks are not essential, but a lot of people like to drink. Miami is one of the most expensive places in the United States for food on a monthly basis. The average person over the course of a month will spend $1,000 on food. And that equates to about $33, $34 a day. So the food in Miami is expensive. If you go to a bar or a restaurant and you're ordering a drink, you can probably assume to pay $20 plus a 20% tip for something to drink. It is extremely expensive to eat out and to go to restaurants in Miami. There's so much international talent here in the restaurant industry. There's so many Michelin star restaurants in Coral Gables and Brickell. There's so many of them. The competition is so high and the rents are so high that these people have to charge an arm and a leg to keep their restaurants open. But it does create competition, so the bad ones close quickly. If you're a bad restaurant here, you're going to close quickly because you can't afford to stay open. So it does force them to either become good at their craft, their restaurant needs to be good, or unfortunately they're going to have to shut doors. But what that means for us people is that we have to be willing to spend if we want to go out to these fancy, nice restaurants. And it is very expensive. To have a nice dinner here, you're looking at a couple $100 easily. I'm talking easily. You're probably around the $400 or $500 range mark just for two people at what would be considered a nice restaurant. If you want just a cheap, quick meal, I go to like Coyo Taco, Green G, trying to think of what else there is. Rice. There's a couple like Chipotle-esque restaurants that are a little bit higher quality than Chipotle that are good and inexpensive and quick if you just want to grab lunch or something, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about going to sit down and have a very nice dinner or just a relaxing dinner. You're in a couple $100 for sure. Now let's talk about cars, car payments, car insurance. What does it take to own a car and have a car here in Florida, or Miami in particular? Miami has one of the highest uninsured motorist rates across the country. So what does that do? That means insurance prices are going to go up, because if you get in an accident, it's highly likely that the other person you got in an accident with does not have car insurance. So unfortunately, we as good citizens who carry car insurance do have to pay for that. It's very risky for the insurance companies if somebody's driving around uninsured. So that increases the premium and our monthly payment. We pay more. Our roads and highways are considered very dangerous. I don't know why it is, but a lot of people are getting in accidents. A lot of people, I think, are texting and driving. So the way insurance works is it's run on kind of like a zip code basis. So they'll run how many accidents occur in the zip code, and then they'll change the monthly payments of everybody that lives in that zip code or keeps their vehicle in that zip code accordingly, right? So some of these zip codes are super high in the accident department, and there's a ton of accidents that happen. So if you live in one of those high impact areas, you're going to be paying more for your insurance. But across the board, insurance is always going up. Always. Vehicles are costing more. Inflation, the cost of living is just insane. It's crazy. So you can always assume that car insurance is going to go up, as well as housing, as well as food, as well as everything else. We call that inflation. And Miami loves inflation for some reason. Cost of living, like I said, is insane. It's only going to get worse. So one other thing that we have a lot of is windshield breaks. Now, I found this super interesting. I was like, why are there so many windshields breaking? Currently in Miami, there's so much construction, and all these trucks and dump trucks that are leaving the construction sites have rocks stuck in their tires. So when rocks get stuck in the tires, they go on the highway, the rock flies out of the tire, bing, hits a windshield. Yep, you better believe it. That increases our insurance premium. We have a lot of people that have broken windshields or are getting cracked or broken windshields from construction trucks. I found that to be super interesting. So all that being said in this video, these all are factors that are affecting the cost of living in Miami, Florida. I think you should be aware of them. I think you should be careful. If you need to sell some real estate to afford to retire or live or whatever it may be, I'm happy to help you. My information is down in the description. You can either email me or shoot me a text, or if you just have questions, please reach out. I'm happy to help because it is getting crazy in this world, and I want to make sure you're taken care of. Bye, guys.